This program is brought to you in part by the Greater Miami Youth Symphony. Making sure children are healthy, safe, loved, ready to learn, succeeding in school and in life. This is Our Children, a program brought to you by the Children's Trust. Good morning. I'm Ileana Borrella.
And I'm Modesto E, CEO of the Children's Trust.
And together we welcome you to Our Children. Did you know that reading at grade level by the third grade is the leading indicator of school success and high school graduation? But 1/3 of our third graders fail to reach this critical benchmark.
This is why the Children's Trust has launched a countywide effort with numerous key stakeholders to curb this problem. But before we introduce a few of them, let's show you why this issue is so important and why everybody should be so concerned.
High school graduation is the doorway to opportunity, to higher education, to jobs and careers. Third grade reading holds the key to that door. In Miami-Dade County, 1/3 of our third grade students do not read at grade level and will not catch up in time to graduate with their class. Every year, tens of thousands of low-income children across the country miss this critical milestone. If this continues, there will be more poverty in the next generation, a workforce that is less competitive in the global economy, and a military less capable of protecting our homeland. These realities are costly, unsustainable, and unacceptable. There are 3 reasons why so many children get so off track. Too many children are coming to preschool and kindergarten unprepared. Children miss too many days of school, and students lose too much ground academically in the summer months when school is out, causing them to return to school even further behind. Here's one illustration of the consequences. Let's look at 2 children, one from a middle-income family, the other from one of the millions of low-income American families. As these 2 children head off to kindergarten, look what happens. The middle-income child starts out with a 6-month lead. The low-income child is already falling behind because of a lack of access to early reading and preschool education. During their year in kindergarten in the same school and classroom, the 2 children will learn at about the same rate. So we'll move them both forward 9 months. But look what happens in that first summer between kindergarten and first grade. The middle-income child moves ahead about 1 month in reading because learning of one kind or another continues over the summer. The low-income child falls back about 2 months. So when first grade begins, the gap between them has already widened. By just the third grade, the 2 children are already far apart. By the end of 5th grade, the gap between the children is 2.5 to 3 years and will continue growing through middle school. So without addressing what's happening during the summer, it's impossible to ever catch up and close the gap. And every year, the gap widens.
I simply became convinced, and am ever more convinced, that the whole future of my community and my country depends on doing right, particularly in the early childhood years. This isn't socialism, this isn't a radical thought, it's just plain American decency.
Organizations across the country and here in our community are mobilizing to address every aspect of this issue with programs that start making a difference in the early years and involve parents at every level. For more information about the National Campaign for Grade Level Reading, visit gradelevelreading.net and in Miami-Dade, thechildrenstrust.org. Because if children don't learn to read, they will never read to learn. And Read to Learn is the name of the local initiative recently launched by the Children's Trust. And joining us now are 2 critical partners in this effort. Representing the Miami-Dade County Public School System is Maricel Elias Miranda, Administrative Director for the Office of Early Childhood Programs. And from the Early Learning Coalition, we have President and CEO Evelio Torres. We welcome both of you. Maricel, I'm going to start out with you. Obviously, from what we see here, just saw here, poverty indeed a factor affecting this very important issue of children and academic success, but it's not the only the only thing that affects them. What about language?
Language plays a major factor. We do have many students that come from different countries and they're learning a second language. And oftentimes the parents do not speak English and they feel that because they do not speak the language that they cannot help their children at home. And it's important for the parents to know that even though they do not speak English, that they can help their children at home in Spanish. Because all of the research tells us that if a child learns in his own native language, whether it be Spanish, whether it be Haitian Creole, that foundation can be transferred on to English and they can be better prepared to learn. Another factor also within language is the importance of oral language development during the early years, from the time that the child is born through third grade, but particularly when the child is born. It's important for the parents to model oral language, to read to them, to sing with them, to speak to them. And the more conversations that they have, the better prepared that they will be to read. They need to speak to the children, whether they are
Even if it's another language?
Even if it's in another language, whether it's in Spanish, French, Haitian Creole, but it's important for the boys and girls to listen to their parents and for the parents to also serve as a role model in modeling that language, proper use of language, utilizing complete sentences, reading books, singing to them.
But doesn't it set them back if they start if they start school having a different language than English? Doesn't it set them back already?
It doesn't really set them back because actually having another language is an asset. And if utilized properly, all of the research tells us is that it can be transferred to the language that they're learning, to the English language. So this is why it's so crucial, it's so important for the parents to model language, even if it's in Spanish, even if it's in Haitian Creole. There are lots of literature books that the parents can read to the children in their own native language. And children can begin to explore, to acquire. Isn't it beautiful, particularly in our culture?
You got me sold.
To learn
So
actually
passionate.
different languages, the beauty of the various languages within our community.
Absolutely.
So parents need to make use of that language as an asset to help the children, particularly in the early years, and even from the time that they're born, even before children are born.
Wow.
Parents have to...
Excuse me.
Sure.
Evelio, you're in charge of the Early Learning Coalition here in Miami-Dade. It runs both our pre-K programs and the Quality Counts program, which is aiming to lift the quality of childcare. Tell us, how important are these two programs in helping us to reach our goal to get all kids reading at grade level by the third grade?
These programs are critical. You take the VPK program, for instance. The VPK program is available to any 4-year-old in the state. It doesn't matter the income level of the parents. It's written into our state constitution. And it really gives kids the head start that they need to enter kindergarten ready to learn. We have a good number of 4-year-olds, over 75% of all 4-year-olds in Miami-Dade County currently participating in the VPK program. And the eligibility is very simple. So long as the children turn 4 before September the 1st, they can enter the program. And there's a lot of flexibility also in terms of the location. You can have the children placed in a public school setting or in a private setting, in a faith-based provider. So there are a number of options. And again, there is, it gives the kids a really good opportunity to enter school ready to learn. There's an approved curriculum, certain standards that are set by the Department of Education, really good foundation for kids.
Too often, parents believe that the early years in school, it's about play, it's about coloring. What are they learning that prepares them to read?
Well, you know, it's not only parents that believe that. We have even some of the people that are in charge of providing the funding for some of these programs still require a lot of education in terms of how important these years are. Kids start learning very early to recognize shapes. They start learning the letters of the alphabet. They start reading words, which are really important even when they get into kindergarten. It's not surprising these days to go into walk into a kindergarten classroom and find that kids are already reading full sentences. And the coloring is an important part. Play is an important part of learning in pre-K settings, but learning is also very important. They learn an appreciation for books and they learn to recognize the importance of doing homework, because even in pre-K they have projects, small projects, but they have little projects that they have to do and turn them in the next day. And it really also gets the parents involved in working with their kids, reading with their kids. Not so much to their kids, but reading with their kids, which is so important.
So I guess the homework for all parents is read to your children. Read to your children.
That is exactly
Especially
right.
in the summer when school's out.
Read with your children.
Read to and with your children. All right, thank you much for being with us. Obviously, a lot more to be done. Up next, we're joined by representatives of the County Mayor's Office and our library system. Plus, we're going to show you a unique program that has doctors prescribing a daily dose of reading to their young patients. We'll be right back.
Quality childcare is your child's start to a great future, so aim high. To prepare your kids to grow up to fulfill their dreams, the Children's Trust encourages you to ask your childcare provider if they're part of the Quality Counts program in Miami-Dade County. Quality Counts strives to improve quality in childcare by star rating providers on things like an atmosphere that promotes learning, teacher certification, student-teacher ratios, and so much more. To find a star-rated Quality Counts or accredited childcare provider near you, log on to thechildrenstrust.org or call 211.
Do you know what I learned in pre-K today? I learned to count. I learned my shapes. I learned to write my name. My color. You know what I learned?
Pre-kindergarten is an important step in your child's future, and it's now available free to all 4-year-olds in Florida. The Early Learning Coalition and the Children's Trust urge you to register your child for free pre-kindergarten now. In Miami-Dade, just pick up the phone and call 211 to find out how to register your child for pre-K today.
Welcome back. Joining us now are Lisa Martinez, Senior Advisor to Miami-Dade County Mayor Carlos Gimenez, and Lucrece Luini, Assistant Director for the Miami-Dade County Public Library System.
Ladies, thank you for being with us. I know that both of you recently attended the Saturday Summit the Children's Trust convened to launch the Read to Learn initiative, and it was covered by the Miami Herald, and then subsequently one of their columnists, Ana Veciana Suarez, wrote about it, and this is what she had to say, and I quote here: "I was horrified when I found out that 2/3 of U.S. 4th graders are not proficient readers, according to national assessment data. In Miami-Dade, 33% of 3rd graders read below grade level, and in the city of Miami, where I was taught," again, this is her writing, "where I was taught the rhythm of consonants and the melody of vowels, 45% of kids can't keep up with their 3rd grade classmates." Lisa, this is alarming. And what is that telling us about what we can expect from a future workforce when so many of these children can't even read?
I think it's important for us to really see this as a call to action, to be able to determine as a community how we can be able to come together to address solutions along with the school district, along with early educators, so that we could be able to frame out how we could be able to help support our future workforce.
I mean, do you think that most people realize how bad the problem is?
You know, I think this has been a problem that has been evident and has been an issue for decades, if not present in our school systems across the nation all along. During this era of accountability, I think it's becoming more evident and data-based that we really need to start paying attention to it.
So now we're faced with the actual figures.
Exactly, and I believe, I'm sure the school district folks could be able to address it more eloquently, but I believe the data really is showing that progress has been made over the past handful of years regarding this issue. But when we meet a crossroads about how we can be able to push success and achievement forward, we really have to think about it as a community issue rather than just an education issue.
Lucrece, we know that the county library system has suffered from budget cuts again this year. But tell us, what kinds of structured programs does the library system still offer for children and their families, and are they fully utilized?
Yes, the library has suffered budget cuts, but we are determined to keep our core programming alive and well. And yes, the libraries are being used sufficiently. We need more people to know about libraries and the services that we offer. But certainly the core programming that we offer, we want to keep them alive, such as our early literacy program, Reading Ready, where we offer story times, enhanced story times for parents and caretakers for children 0 to 5 years. What we do there is really trying to teach them the pre-literacy skills that children need to know before they learn to read. So we emphasize that through our story time. We give parent tips and activities that they can do at home to help the problem. For when you come to elementary school kids, the after-school programs are in place, homework assistance as much as we can, helping them answer questions. We do also some very creative literary campaigns, such as our annual bookmark contest coming up November 1st, where every child in the county can participate and create a bookmark based on a theme. And this year is the library as a jam, as a neighborhood jam. And it brings families together, and that's really great. Also, the summer reading program. Every year, every public library in the nation, one of the things we've always known is that if children do not read during the summer, they lose their reading abilities. So we've always had a summer reading program, and we want to, with the partners, to make it even more and make sure that it's open to everyone. Our storytelling programs also have been, for the past 12 years, is bringing every segment of the population together from 0 to 100. We offer workshops for parents, for teachers, but also hands-on activities for children, for teens and adults. So the core programming that we offer, we want to keep them, and we're fighting as much as we can to make sure that they're there for the public.
Wonderful.
Well, we also know that children can use the internet at the library as well. So the county is very much involved in all of this. And of course, we've also mentioned that the Children's Trust is partnering with all of you to try to make it much easier for children to learn to read. Thank you for being with us. Really, really appreciate your work. And of course, brings me to the program funded by the Children's Trust that introduces reading at pediatricians' offices. Told you we're going to tell you about this. It's a national model being implemented around the country, and it's called Reach Out and Read. Here's how it works.
Rainbow. What letter does that word begin with? R. Very good.
The teaching begins from the moment kids arrive for their so-called well doctor visits. Volunteers are armed with books.
Come and show me the rainbow fish.
This very active waiting room is located inside the North Dade Health Center. It's one of 33 health centers in Miami-Dade County in which the Reach Out and Read Miami program is part of a routine checkup for children. Based on a national medical model, it promotes early childhood literacy through pediatrics offices.
I'm giving you a prescription. Damari, I'm going to tell your mom that I want her to read to you every night.
Call it a prescription for learning and success. At each of 10 checkups between 6 months and 5 years, the doctor encourages the parent to read aloud to their child. No lollipops here. At the beginning of each visit, the doctor gives the child a new, developmentally appropriate book.
The first thing you do, you show them the book. And as a physician, we can use that to see developmentally how they are.
They could tell me what the pictures say, some of the words they could pick out, so it's a good learning process for them.
There's enormous evidence that children who have books in the home have a higher chance of succeeding.
The program is run by the Miami-Dade Family Learning Partnership. The organization collaborates with agencies and institutions with the goal of improving child and family well-being in the community through literacy and parent skill building.
3. And you're reading to her?
About 250 pediatric providers have been trained in the program's strategies of early literacy. This prescription to read doctor's visit is happening at UMDC Pediatric Associates.
Hey, it's good to see you guys today. I know that you're here for your regular checkup, but first I have a gift for Caleb. This is for you. Look at that. We now have more than 12 peer-reviewed studies in the medical literature showing that the Reach Out and Read program promotes early childhood literacy.
Is that a girl and a boy? Yeah!
We take a lot of pride at our agency with the books that we select. We want culturally sensitive books. We want diversity in the stories that we expose children to, and we want good, solid, developmentally appropriate books in the home.
Put yourself in words unspoken. Live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten.
Okay, Trinity, let's go pick out a book. Right down here. Let's see what we have. You can pick out this one.
I like reading.
And that, my friend, all will agree, is a very good thing.
Live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins.
I said no lollipops, but if that's what it takes for them to read, go ahead and give them a lollipop. Listen, we have to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to talk to Mo about national efforts around third grade reading and about his recent appointment to a presidential committee that had him rubbing elbows with, you know who? Shakira. Don't go away.
See what everyone is talking about. Learn about our programs, become a donor, or get your concert tickets today. The Greater Miami Youth Symphony, a total community project.
Young Talent, Big Dreams, the most comprehensive local youth talent competition for performers ages 8 to 17, is taking audition reservations now. Presented by Actors Playhouse at the Miracle Theater and the Children's Trust. Auditions run October through March throughout Miami-Dade. Compete for prizes, scholarships, and performance opportunities. For complete details, visit these websites or call the Children's Trust helpline at 211.
Welcome back. You know, it's nice to know that the Children's Trust is not alone in this third grade reading initiative, Mo. Lots of folks and foundations around the country are rallying around literacy. Tell us how they're doing this.
The U.S. Conference of Mayors, the National League of City, have offered the All-City, All-American Award this year to those cities that are most involved and pull together the best coalitions around the whole issue of literacy and achieving it by the third grade. It's the type of problem that when you shine light on it, people see it and want to do something about it.
Well, we certainly shined a light on it today. I think some of the figures are really alarming, and I think a lot of people don't quite realize how deep the problem is. You've also, you really committed to this, I know, personally, and you were recently appointed to President Obama's Advisory Commission on Educational Excellence for Hispanics, and you all met this month in Washington. I guess, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I think it's an honor, I'm sure, for you. It's an honor for us to have you here, not only to talk about that, but to be leading the Children's Trust into this. I want to show you a picture that we have. I think we already showed a little bit, but we show a picture of Mo attending the summit. I want to say that among the people there are also Miami-Dade College President Eduardo Padron, and there were 25 others from around the country, of course. Did you see the picture? Mo only had eyes for Shakira, who was there. No, seriously. Why is this commission so important? Why was it convened, and why should we care and need to know about it?
The President has set the goal that we should retake our global position as the nation which graduates the most college graduates. We rank 16th in the world at this time. And with the expansion of the Hispanic population, Latinos are now the nation's largest minority. And we have the worst educational outcomes. Fewer than half of Latinos are graduating from high school at a national level, and we see it throughout the educational system.
Why is that, Mo? Why?
Well, it starts early.
Is it the language barrier because so many children?
To some extent, particularly when the parents don't speak English and when the parents don't come with educational background. And so the kids struggle, they don't get the assistance at home, the parents don't recognize the importance of an early education. Fewer than half of Latino children participate and benefit from a quality early care and education experience. They come to school, they fall behind. For English language learners, 66% in Dade County are not reading at grade level. And so they fall behind, they struggle, and eventually they lose interest and drop out of school and go to work when they can find it.
And we mentioned this before during the show. The poverty, is money, financial situation also an issue within the Hispanic population?
It is across the United States, not so much in Dade County. Poverty correlates much higher among our African American population. We see that in the numbers here in Dade County, again, with fewer than 50% of African Americans.
So how does the
graduating
commission
from high
address this?
school.
Because people always say, well, you can form a commission like this, but how do you get a commission to actually address and work a problem?
What you have on this commission are national experts on not only early care and education, but on elementary education, on secondary and post-secondary education, on what we need to do to get kids focused on college at a very early age, and really have high schools and really middle school putting an emphasis on the belief that every child can go to college and should be preparing to go to college.
So you feel that we'll be getting good recommendations out of this commission and hopefully can put them into play?
Absolutely.
Well, I have a feeling, no, I'm sure we'll be talking a lot more about this. And again, congratulations. And I'm glad that you're definitely one of those experts.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mo. Well, that's all the time we have for now. But remember, parents, read with your children every day. And with the holiday season around the corner, yes, around the corner, how about giving the gift of reading for a change? I'm Ileana Barella. On behalf of the Children's Trust and Modesto Abety, thanks for watching this edition of Our Children. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Our Children is brought to you by the Children's Trust. The Children's Trust invests in programs and services that help make children healthy, safe, loved, ready to learn, succeed in school and in life. To access its funded programs and services in Miami-Dade County, visit thechildrenstrust.org or call the Children's Trust helpline at 211, because all children are our children. This program is brought to you in part by the Greater Miami Youth Symphony.
The Children's Trust invests in programs that help improve the lives of children and families just like yours. Programs you can find at thechildrenstrust.org. Visit our website today and browse a wide range of programs that give children an opportunity to succeed, keeping them healthy, safe, and helping them reach their full potential, creating a stronger community for all. If you live in Miami-Dade County and need to access these services, log on to thechildrenstrust.org or dial 211, because all children are our